San Francisco's late 60s music scene was defined by acts like the Grateful Dead, Janis Joplin, and Jefferson Airplane. While their music remains popular to this day, one band of 4 groundbreaking women from that era is getting a second chance 50 years later. John Blackstone has their story.
San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury intersection, made famous during the Summer of Love, is more than just a memory for the 4 women posing under the iconic street signs. In 1965, at an apartment around the corner, they started playing music together. As the Ace of Cups, an all-girl rock band, Denise Kaufman, Mary Gannon, lead guitarist Mary Ellen Simpson, and drummer Diane Vitalich. 50 years ago, they were right at the center of San Francisco's exploding music scene. You started to get some pretty prominent gigs.
The Fillmore.
Oh, yeah.
With Bill Graham and the Avalon. And
seeing Janis, being backstage.
So backstage with Janis Joplin, sharing the stage with what other groups?
Jefferson Airplane.
The band.
The
Santana, and Jimi Hendrix.
So there you were on the same stage with Jefferson Airplane and Jimi Hendrix. What happened?
Well, first of all, we didn't get a record deal at that time. And that was sort of the next step for us, and it was the same step that our brother bands were taking. And if you didn't record, you never got a fan base farther away than your local situation. And so then you didn't really get to tour. So all of those things that would have been part of the next step never really happened for us.
Half a century later, they finally have a record deal. They're back together, all well into their 70s. But it seems like the 60s all over again when they start to play. Their performance raises the mystery of why they were never offered a record deal so long ago. Did that next step not come because you were a girl band?
Maybe one of the aspects of it.
I would say that.
And then we started having children, and we really couldn't afford to, go on the road, and it was just got harder. Well, I'm on the road again.
Songs they'd written and performed, like On the Road, gathered dust as they each went on to other lives.
Well, I had all the usual suspect jobs of waitressing.
I became a substance abuse counselor.
And I ended up taking my personal practice, which was yoga, and that became a profession or livelihood for me for some years.
Became a house cleaner.
Mostly gardening, I had bees.
I moved to LA to go to music school.
I went back to school in my 50s and got my diploma for special ed.
Started playing in top 40 bands.
Became an emergency medical technician.
I got my compass and my dream.
I've got my compass and my dream. I mean, have you had the dream that you have today? Have you had that for all these years?
Well, I think we always wanted to share the music. I know for me it felt like I didn't ever think that would really happen, that the music that we had written together would actually find its way to the world. I thought it was, that we would kind of treasure it, but it'd be like having little children that never got to go out,
The Ace of Cups!
7 years ago, the Ace of Cups was asked to perform at a birthday celebration for Summer of Love personality, Wavy Gravy.
Standing on their own without a house they can call their home.
A young record producer was in the audience, and he decided it was time to correct an oversight from so long ago. The Ace of Cups' first recorded album on High Moon Records has just been released, with some of the old songs and many new ones, reflecting the lives they've lived.
But now, of course, we've been through a lot, motherhood and all, raising teenagers. So the songs are a little bit more biting, but there's a lot of new songs. It's like, I'm not going to sing about, why'd you leave me, babe? I'm over here in a bar waiting by myself, because I'm not doing that. And those days are over. And it's okay. I don't want to do that anymore.
When you listen to that now, when you look at this film of you performing, Are you amazed at what you did at such a tender age?
It was just life. It was just what we were doing.
You were going to tell me what your family thinks of all this.
They're both just thrilled beyond.
You were famous.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't talk a lot to them about what happened back then. I think a lot of kids don't know what their mothers were doing, you know.
Thank heavens. The Ace of Cups is planning a tour next year. They'll be performing old songs from a new perspective.
But it's funny when you're at this age in your career, like say if we were in our 20s, I always think it's a blessing that we didn't get a recording contract. I don't think I'd be here now. I would do anything then, you know, that was maybe destructive or whatever. You know, now that I'm 75, it's like I can see how things are.
Does it feel good, baby? Tell me, how does it feel?
For CBS This Morning Saturday, John Blackstone, San Francisco.
Feel good, baby.
Well, I'm glad they're still here, and we finally got an Ace of Cups record.
And they have such strong vocals, man.
Yes, yeah,
They
great
can
band.
sing.
And can we just say how great it is to see John Blackstone, who's actually retired, but left us with that piece.
I know.
So great.
And we miss him already.
We do. Chris Weicker definitely does, his producer.
His producer, yeah.